All right, so let's talk a little bit about just where to get started. You don't necessarily, like I mentioned before, need to have like inspiration from a divine place in the middle of a dream or something like that to make music. Where I like to start is I like to go to some of my favorite artists and pull out elements that I like about their music. Here, I'll show you a couple of examples. So, for example, this song, Melanie Martinez Death, popped up on my Spotify playlist. It's one of my jams. And, really listen to the music that you like and determine what it is you like about it and write that down. So, for example, what I like about this one is the entire first half of the song is kind of cinematic, lush strings. It's a pretty simple beat, and it's got those distorted snares and toms that are like kind of trade back and forth. So what I did was I listened to that song and I wrote it down. So it's got an electric guitar with the chunks. It's got those. I wrote straight drum. Actually, straight drums is more for the second verse. Hold up. So I'm gonna put that in. Actually, straight drums might be a pre-chorus. I'll explain all of this in a minute. But it's got that syncopated feel right there. But then after, no, straight drums. That's right. Straight drums is part of the chorus. All I mean by straight drums is it's boom, crack, boom, crack, boom, crack, boom, crack. Pretty simple drum pattern. So we're going to keep that there. All right. So write down the elements. Listen to one of your favorite songs. Be like, ooh, what makes this song good? And write it down. Music break, that's the part we just distorted and repeated snares and drums. So it's blaring square synth or electric guitar. You could put distorted electric guitar, same type of thing, followed by distorted repeated snares and toms. Okay, so that's what I'm going to have for a music break. And I'm going to follow this format. I like the format. So the whole first verse is cinematic. Just strings. Here, let me write that down. Just strings and piano. All right, cool. And then the music break is that, and then the bridge, straight live bass. So I think that's where I think that's in this song. It takes on a whole other feel, right? It's just got that dum 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 dum. It's got that straight, and it's got a live bass sound, and that's what makes that next section pretty cool. So I put that as part of. I'm gonna put that as the bridge. Then for the verses, I'm actually going to borrow from another song that I really like from McCall called Alone With You. And I wrote eighth note pulses with pauses, right? Meaning, you'll hear what I mean in a second. And it's got an R&B chord progression. So I'm going to build this whole song on an R&B chord progression instead of that kind of rock pop chord progression that Melanie Martinez had. With spaces of silence. This is the only way I know how to explain this. R&B chord progression, slightly bent pitches in parts, so I'll show you what I mean here. And the cool thing about this song is there's so much room for the vocal, right? It's only there to support that dope ass melody and the lyrics. So we have that. There's some bent pitches later in the song. That was just right in the right spot, right? It's tough sometimes to produce, and it's easier to produce like this if you already have your melody and your lyrics and all that, and you start writing as you're producing. But I really love what they did. A lot of producers, I wouldn't even think to like just kind of dip the pitch down for like it's not even a whole half step, I don't think, but it's just like and then back up. Amazing choice for that song. So I'm gonna include that somewhere in the second verse. Here we go. Also, so that's what I do. Like, I'm just going to use an R&B chord progression. I'm going to use those pulses for that second verse. The intro is going to be just strings and piano. It's going to be lush and cinematic. The chorus, we're going to go into kind of an electric guitar with the chunks and the straight drums. We're going to have like a hard-hitting music break with some distorted drums in there. For the bridge, we're going to do that straight doom, 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 that feel to it. And then the second verse, we're going to start doing the right? And that's what I'm going to do for this beat. You don't have to reinvent music to make something special, right? And then once you start making it, once you kind of have a blueprint and a plan, that's when more creativity and originality will come out of you. Because, you know, like you may have heard in one of the previous videos, I talked about having a marble slab, and you might change complete direction. You may go off this roadmap once you start, but it's good to have a roadmap so you know what direction you're going, right? A lot of people sit down, open up their DAW, and are like, I don't even know where to begin. This is where you begin. Start with your favorite music, listen to it, figure out what you love, and pick those elements out of it and make sure that's in your song. You may just have, some songs don't need to be this complicated. They don't need to change up this much. A lot of, especially hip hop and R&B, or, could just have a dope ass, 8 bars of awesomeness, right? And you just drop elements out and you do some transitions and you're done. Some of those are more simpler. For this tutorial, for this course, I wanted to cover everything. So that's why I'm kind of going with a more complicated approach. So, all right. So that's how we do it. Let's get started. Hey, what's going on? I hope you've enjoyed this training. This training is just part of a larger course, so if you want to take the whole course, just go to this playlist right here. Also, if you subscribe to my channel, you're going to get a lot of information on how to get your music into TV and film. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and subscribe, comment, like, all of those things. Let's go.